The purpose of this video is to get a new user up and running with the RMS Express application for the WindLink system and show how to send and receive email messages using the Winmore and Packet digital modes. Winmore needs a sound card and is used primarily for the HF bands. Packet uses a TNC, which is an abbreviation for a hardware terminal node controller, and is primarily for VHF and UHF frequencies. RMS Express has a number of other features and modes besides these two, but in order to keep it simple for the beginner, we will not explore the hybrid network for radio-only forwarding, peer-to-peer messaging, or PACTOR. These are subjects one can explore using the Help menu after one is familiar with the basic operation of RMS Express. If you've never used RMS Express, the first thing you need to do is download two applications from the WindLink.org website. So using your browser, select the URL www.windlink.org. Click on the menu labeled Client Software. Scroll down the screen until you see the link to the WindLink FTP site and click on it. When the index of the FTP site window opens, click on the link to User Programs. First select and download the RMS Express install zip file. After that is complete, select and download the ITSHFBC zip file. This second file provides the propagation prediction capabilities used by the RMS Express application. Expand these zip files and run the two installation programs. The installers will put the required files into directories on the C drive. You will need to know the directory path to the ITSHFBC.exe file during the RMS Express setup, so make note of its location. After installing these applications, open RMS Express and select RMS Express Setup under the Files menu. Enter your call sign and grid square. Next, enter the path to the propagation forecast program, which is usually C:/ITSHFBC/. I suggest entering public and MCOM in the service codes blank. Some radio message server gateway stations limit the type of messages they accept, so these two types are a good choice. Finally, fill in your personal information, although this is optional. I suggest leaving the other items with the default values and finish by clicking on the Update button. Now go back to the Files menu and let's take a look at Preferences. You can check several options. I would suggest checking the Add //WL2K to the subject line of messages. This //WL2K key informs the mail processing system to bypass the anti-spam whitelist system and may enable a reply from a recipient mail address that may be absent from the receiving account whitelist. WindLink's whitelist feature is one of those things you can explore when you're comfortable using the system. There are variations on the //WL2K beginning of the subject line that establish message priorities, but we're not going into those now. After making your choices, click on the Update button. Every amateur radio user of the WindLink system needs to have their unique email address, which is their call sign at windlink.org. You can register your email address by simply sending one message in the WindLink system. So let's do it. Click on the Message menu and select New Message. A new window will open that will allow you to compose and email messages. Notice that the From pull-down menu has your call sign showing. Make sure the WindLink message is selected. Now go ahead and fill in the "to" space with a normal email address that is not part of the WindLink system. I suggest sending an email to yourself at your regular email address. Go ahead and fill in the subject space and then type a short message. Finally, click on the Post to Out box at the top of the window. Notice that your newly created message now appears in the Out box. If you look at the subject column, you'll see //WL2K has been added to the beginning. Also notice that a unique 12-character identifier has been created for this email message. Now to send this message, you will need to connect to the WindLink system using a specific type of session. For the moment, open the pull-down Session menu and select Telnet WL2K. Since we assume your computer is connected to the Internet, a Telnet connection to WindLink is the easiest and fastest method, or session, to use. A Telnet session connects your PC to a WindLink CMS server at much higher data rates than are possible with the very limited bandwidths allowed on amateur frequencies. Now click on the Open Session tab at the top. A Telnet session window opens. Click on Start at the top of the window. The session begins, and you will see a number of cryptic lines of information as RMS Express exchanges data with the CMS server. This one happens to be in Brentwood, Tennessee. One of the lines informs the server that an email with the unique identifier we saw before is available and will be transmitted. Then the message is sent, followed by an orderly completion and disconnect. Your email message is now on the CMS server and in the process of being delivered to the recipient by regular Internet methods. Here's how the received email appears. Notice the //WL2K in the subject line. Now let's turn our attention to Winmore operation. Winmore is based on a computer sound card to radio interface and is typically used for connection to the WindLink system on the HF or high-frequency amateur bands. Technically speaking, Winmore is called a protocol, and RMS Express implements this protocol with a Winmore Virtual TNC, or Winmore Virtual Terminal Node Controller, which we'll see in a few minutes. Winmore stands for WindLink Message over Radio and has two modes, either 500 or 1600 Hz in bandwidth, and provides speeds ranging from 67 to 1300 bits per second. When the sending and receiving stations connect using Winmore, they use an ARQ, or Automatic Repeat Request System, for error control. If the sender does not receive an acknowledgement from the receiver, it usually retransmits the data frame or packet. One can hear this send acknowledge back and forth during a connection to the WindLink system. Winmore WL2K must first be selected in the pull-down menu. Next, select Open Session. You are likely to get a message from the WindLink system requesting that you register your use of the Winmore protocol, along with a modest donation to support their activities. You have a choice to donate and register, or dismiss the request and continue. Now select the Setup menu and choose Winmore TNC Setup. Here you will need to select the sound card ports. The Winmore capture device means the port providing the audio stream from the radio to the computer. The Winmore playback device means the port sending computer audio to the radio. The precise designations will depend on your sound card device. This example is for a Flex 6000 series radio using their digital audio exchange feature. Here's an example using the SignalLink sound card interface. It is usually identified as a USB audio codec. You may also check the Identify with Morse code box, but leave the other information at the default values. Finish by clicking on the Update button. Next, go back to the Setup menu and choose Radio Setup. If you can control your radio from the computer, RMS Express will select the band and frequency for you automatically. This part of radio control is optional, but because of the ARQ system of error control, RMS Express must have a method to operate the push-to-talk for the transceiver. So let's proceed by choosing your transceiver from the Radio Model pull-down menu. A list of radios are available, or you can select Manual if you can't control your radio from the computer. Winmore always uses the upper sideband or USB. Select USB Digital if your radio supports this, because a digital setting usually disables any audio equalization that could interfere with Winmore's digital encoding. Next, choose the COM port you'll be using for radio control. If you're using a USB to serial converter, you may have to consult the device manager in the control panel of your Windows PC to find the appropriate COM port. You might have to experiment with RTS and DTR for proper operation. Choose None if you're manually controlling the radio. Now on to the selection for push-to-talk. Winmore PTT can be handled in one of three ways: VOX, or Voice-Operated Exchange, CAT, or Computer-Aided Transceiver commands, and finally, a computer serial port. If you have VOX, either in the radio itself or in an external sound card interface such as the SignalLink, choose External. Select your radio if it is in the pull-down menu, or finally, select a COM port if you're using a serial port or a USB to serial converter. Please consult the RMS Express help pages for more information if you need more help. Now that the setup is complete, let's select Channel Selection. A new window opens called HF Channel Selector, which shows a table of HF RMS gateway stations, some information about them, and path reliability and quality estimates calculated from the SFI or Solar Flux Index using ITSHFBC, that second application that we installed. Select Update Table via Internet and wait for the information in the table to be updated. Now the currently available Winmore RMS gateway stations are ranked, showing the most likely stations to use for connecting to the WindLink system based on radio propagation. Note the frequencies and other information to make your choice. Highlight the station of your choosing and click Select, or you can double-click on the station. The window closes and your station is now shown at the top of the Winmore session window, along with the center frequency and the dial frequency. If RMS Express is controlling your radio, you should see the band and frequency changes to match your channel selection. The dial frequency should correspond to the frequency setting of your transceiver, and the center frequency should be 1.5 kHz higher and more or less in the center of your audio passband. This is where the Winmore tones will be centered. Now turn your attention to the Winmore TNC window. The receive indicator in the center top should be showing some background receive signal with an amplitude that extends into the green area. The waterfall should also be indicating the presence of background noise, with a speckled appearance moving downward with time. The busy indicator should indicate a clear channel. Click the Start button and you should transmit several bursts of data requesting a connection to the RMS gateway station. It may take a number of these short data bursts for the RMS gateway station to respond, because many RMS gateway stations are set up to automatically listen on several bands. Therefore, it takes a little time for the band switching to be accomplished, so don't give up too quickly if there are no immediate responses. Once a connection is established, the ARQ back and forth begins, and the progress can be monitored on the Winmore session screen. The quality of the connection is indicated in the Winmore TNC screen, especially in the black square in the lower right-hand corner. Tight, well-defined clusters of dots in the four quadrants show good progress in decoding the digital signals, while dispersed, disorganized patterns show the decoder is having to do more work reproducing the data. The session window will show any pending messages for you in a queue, followed by their downloading, and any messages in your outbox being sent. When the exchanges are completed, the connection will automatically terminate, followed by a CW identifier if you selected that in the setup earlier. You can now click Exit to terminate the Winmore session. If you received any email messages, they will now be indicated in your main RMS Express window. Click on Inbox if it is not already selected to see a list of received emails. Double-click on an email in the list to open it in a separate window. If an email is accompanied by an attachment, there will be a yellow paperclip icon in the first column. Click on this paperclip icon for access to the attachment. Now let's turn our attention to a VHF packet connection to the WindLink system. So first select Packet WL2K in the Session pull-down menu. Click on Open Session. Just as we did before, click on the Setup menu and select Packet TNC type or brand. It is important to note at this point that no sound card options are supported by RMS Express for packet operations. You must have a hardware TNC or terminal node controller available and installed between your computer and the radio. After selecting the TNC type, choose the TNC model. A Cantronics KPC3 Plus TNC has been selected in this example. Next, select the serial communications port and the serial port baud rate. Then choose the baud rate for data communications via the radio. Most VHF packet communications use 1200 baud. It's probably not necessary to change any of the other default values, so you can quit and click on the Update button. Notice at this point that RMS Express attempts to connect to your TNC and initialize it. You will get the results of this attempt, and if it fails, you need to stop and inspect your cabling or TNC setup choices. Now that we're back to the packet session window with a successful initiation of the TNC, we will select the connection type as direct for this demonstration. This means we are within a simplex capable distance of the RMS gateway station. We will not consider the other options of digipeater or script, which would allow multiple hops via digipeaters or packet networks. If you know the call sign of an RMS gateway station, you can enter it here. Most WindLink Packet RMS gateway stations use an SSID of 10, such as KI4VAM-10. You must be sure to enter the -10 or the RMS gateway station will not respond to your attempts to connect to it. By the way, SSID stands for Service Set Identifier and is a way that a single amateur radio call sign can be used for a number of digital radio purposes, such as bulletin board systems or a node in a packet network. SSIDs can have 16 values from 0 to 15, but a value of 10 is typical for WindLink RMS packet gateway stations. If you don't know the call sign of an available RMS packet gateway station, you can choose Select Channel at the top, and another window opens with a list of stations. Select one of the two Update Table options, and RMS Express will refresh the list showing the gateway stations within 160 kilometers from your grid square. Double-click to select a station, or highlight it and choose Select Station. Another way to discover local RMS packet gateway stations is to go to the WindLink website, www.windlink.org. Click on the Tools menu, followed by the RMS Map tab. Select Packet and use the mouse and scroll wheel to position and zoom the map to the region of interest. Clicking on any of the green balloon icons will give you more information about that station, including the call sign and frequency. One final thing. RMS Express does not provide for any radio control when using packet sessions, so you will be required to manually set your radio to the appropriate frequency for the RMS packet gateway station of your choice. Now that we've selected an RMS gateway station and adjusted our radio to its frequency or channel, we're ready to connect to the station and either send the emails in the outbox or download emails waiting in the WindLink system. So click Start at the top of the session window. Your station will send a connection request, the RMS gateway station will respond, and an exchange will take place between the two stations that results in the transmission and reception of email messages. Any messages received will be available in the inbox, and any individual email can be opened by double-clicking on it in the list. Once again, any attachments can be accessed by clicking on the paperclip icon in the first column. So let's summarize what we've covered in this video. RMS Express is an application for the Windows operating system, written and supported by the WindLink development team for sending and receiving email messages and attachments by radio through the worldwide WindLink system. Amateur radio operators are assigned their own WindLink email address with their call sign at windlink.org, and can exchange email messages with other amateurs using their WindLink email addresses, or with any other recipients using their own conventional email addresses. Emails are sent and received via the WindLink system by using the RMS Windows PC application with the Internet Telnet protocol, or by using a radio connection with an RMS gateway station employing one of several digital protocols such as Winmore, Pactor, or Packet. We have only considered Winmore and Packet in this video because of the greater cost of newer Pactor TNCs. Winmore requires a sound card interface between the Windows computer and a radio, and Packet requires a hardware terminal node controller between the computer and the radio. We have covered how to install the RMS application program and a propagation utility program followed by the basic setup and sending an initial email message to establish a user's WindLink email address. Next, we showed how to set up a Winmore sound card session, update the list of Winmore RMS gateway stations, and showed successful connection to the WindLink system on the 40-meter amateur band. Lastly, we went through the same activities for using Packet and connecting to a VHF RMS gateway station. The RMS Express application has a rich help section which will let the user explore many of the application's capabilities that we did not cover in this video. These include the PACTOR protocol, peer-to-peer or P2P messaging, radio-only forwarding using the WindLink hybrid network, sending and editing images, and message templates. The WindLink system is used successfully by seagoing mariners for routine email traffic and has been used for emergency messaging in disaster situations such as the earthquake in Haiti. The radio-only forwarding and hybrid networking capabilities, along with the latest PACTOR 4 TNCs, are in use by the Department of Defense-sponsored Army, Navy, and Air Force Mars programs to supplement the communication systems of FEMA and the Department of Homeland Security.